This episode is brought to you by Red Riding Hood, the manga-inspired take on the classic fairy tale for readers grades K through 2, written by Christina Oxtra. In Red Riding Hood, readers review the classic story in a brand new way, with twists in the story, more diverse characters, and featuring Japanese aesthetics incorporated throughout. Red Riding Hood is part of a series published by Capstone and written by various artists with unique takes on your childhood favorites. Look out for Red Riding Hood, available on Amazon and your local bookstores. Congratulations, Christina, on your first published book. The link is in the show description.
Hello everybody, welcome to Boss Rep Podcast. I'm your host, the enlightened and excited ADV. Joining me is the Wise Wisconsinite back in the building.
How's it going?
Of course, I got the Gunner Hunter himself, the PC Muscle Race. I love this man. Everybody, please welcome the host of Crossroads, LeRon Dawkins.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
And everybody, do check out their part 1 and part 2. They talk about what's going to happen, or like make predictions for the PS5 showcase. And they did a part 2, what happens after it. Do check it out, the guys. They came together and gave some great commentary. Some things you may agree, some things you may not agree, but yes, it was just a fantastic viewing. So guys, do check that episode.
Is they you, Ed? Is that what qualifies as they?
No, because I messaged LeRon, I told Nelly, I told the whole Crossroad teams, I'm like, great job. I'm like, pretty much everything that you guys said, I agree. I didn't have no problem with it. I thought the showcase was really, really good.
I'm just messing with you, Ed.
Oh yeah, well, definitely tune in Tuesday night because we're going to continue the adventures on that one. Let me tell you right now, because the panel, we've got some more stuff to talk about this whole situation here, and I want to save it for Tuesday night.
So everybody, grab your dinner, grab your snacks, get ready, and of course, Bossman himself joining us, Mr. Corey Derrick.
Hi. LeRon,
yes,
I'm going to ask you a question real quick, LeRon.
Okay.
Is your Switch ready for March?
It's getting ready.
For Monster Hunter Rise?
It's getting ready. You know, I'll just go on record. When I heard that the new Monster Hunter game was coming to the Switch, I was like, I've been knee deep in World for over 2 years now, and I was really leery about the idea of going back to a portable Monster Hunter and that odd possibility that is going back to those legacy controls that we've been playing with for Monster Hunter for over 14 years. Mm-hmm. I was really leery about that because the quality of life changes that Monster Hunter World brought to the mix. But after watching that direct and seeing what they're trying to do with Rise and everything, I was like, you know what? There are some updates on it. Like when you saw him sliding down the hill, I'm like, okay, that's something that was part of Monster Hunter World, the sliding mechanic and all that stuff. And then when I found out that they're basically going to make sure that the entire map is loaded, so there's no more of this hitting a barrier and then loading into the next part of the map. Mm-hmm. That stuff I was impressed enough with, and I was like, okay, I'm keeping my eye on this one. But actually, the Monster Hunter news that definitely said I'm buying this is Monster Hunter Stories 2, because Monster Hunter Stories on the 3DS was amazing enough that I actually bought it again on my tablet, on my Galaxy S5e. I bought it again. So Stories is definitely, they're getting a win from that one. And I'm keeping my eye on Rise. More than likely, it's a Monster Hunter title. I have yet to miss a Monster Hunter title that what?
That Monster Hunter Stories 2 trailer, that the artwork, that look, I was just like, what? I needed that game to drop that day after the direct. If they literally would have dropped it, it would have been. I don't care. It would have been on my Switch like that, and then I would have went to the store and bought the physical version. You
guys don't understand when I say I'm a fan of Monster Hunter Stories. These Monster Hunter Stories are the only ones where I bought amiibos for. Of all the amiibos that have been out in the market,
I didn't even know they made any.
Yeah, they were
actually.
I think they were Japanese exclusive, weren't they?
Yeah, they didn't come out in the States, so I had to import them.
Yeah,
I imported them. I actually got a good deal on them. I didn't spend more than $25 a piece.
Yeah, it's actually cheaper to import Amiibo now than it is to buy the US ones. So like I've been looking at the Zelda 30th anniversary ones again, and they're actually like
I'm probably going to cheat on those. I'm probably going to buy the NFC card pack.
Well, I mean, you're super into Monster Hunter. I'm super into Zelda, so I would collect. Like, but like, I open my Amiibo, so I don't care what the box. I don't care what the box looks like. So
yeah, I opened my Amiibos. There was no way I was like, oh, I'm getting like mini statuettes. I'm going to open them.
Yeah,
these aren't in my opinion, these aren't Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Oh. The shade, but the truth.
Well, no, that wasn't shade. That wasn't shade. Like I'm fanboy enough for Monster Hunter that there was no way I was either going to buy 2 of them and then keep one opened, and then, and keep one unopened, or I'm just going to buy what I want and open them up and put them. They're going to be part of my display setup sooner or later when I get like a good setup going.
And that is our Arsenal X mascot, Lenny. Yeah, ever since we've been doing AX and I've been hosting, Lennon has joined Jesse on the show, and every time I see him, I'm just like, okay, he's our mascot, like literally. Dang it, Jesse.
Go and take care of the dog, either the dog or somebody's at the door.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get into some quick housekeeping. This is episode 63 of the Boss Rush podcast. Each and every week, we come together to talk about games and everything we love about them with our friends. You could join us live on Saturdays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/Boss Rush Games Live and be part of the conversation. But if you can't join us live, no big deal. You can head over to youtube.com/Boss Rush Games and bossrushgames.com to watch the show or on your listening podcast service of choice. Remember to subscribe, follow, rate, and review wherever you consume us. It helps us out with discoverability. And check out our familiar shows wherever you listen to your podcast. So that's Arsenal X, 1v1, Crossroads, Standard Definition, and more shows that will be coming and everything. But yes, everybody, Sony has let everything out the bag. It has been a journey, I should say. So PlayStation 5 is priced and had a pre-order adventure, let's say. Now that
is that what you're calling it, an adventure?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I call it a hot mess.
Ed, remember that word a long time ago? I said you weren't allowed to say on this show anymore.
What, adventure?
No.
What?
Ed, remember the word that you're not allowed to say anymore? You can go ahead and say it now.
I'm not.
Garbage.
So it was.
Is that the banned word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I go, wait, is Ed not supposed to say it? Because I think on Crossroads we said it quite a few times.
Everybody else could say it. I can't say it.
You must.
To be fair, this was a long time ago.
You must have abused that word. You must have abused it.
It's not garbage though. Wasn't it trash?
It was a dumpster fire for sure. Yeah. And that's
we're talking about the PlayStation woes, or are we talking about something else?
No, we're talking about the pre-order adventure. Yeah. That's why I can say.
Okay.
So to let everybody know, in the past, I really wasn't calling a lot of stuff garbage, but some people thought I was and got puffy about it. So I had to change the word to questionable content. So that's why every time you be like, "Oh, this game contains questionable content," and
that's your code for trash. I got it.
It has concerns, but now that both are out, have they become the must-have or wait-and-see approach? And we're going to kind of just jump in. So PlayStation 5, the physical version is $499.99, same as Series X, but the digital version is $399, $100 more than the Series S. And so, they kind of say the only difference between both of them is that it doesn't have a disk drive in in the digital version, where Series S has different components, but it's still close to what Series X will be doing in that sense. So now that everything is out, we the high of this, of course, for some people, is definitely God of War, God of War being announced, God of War 2 being announced, Miles Morales being shown more of the gameplay, Final Fantasy 16. It was a PC build, but not. It's an idea of what's going to be happening on PlayStation 5. So I have thoughts about that, but I'm going to wait on it. Good trailer and everything, but I just feel like this is going to go do some revisions, and I know this game's not going to be out to 2023. I already
you
know.
You talking about Final Fantasy?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16. I actually don't.
They said
I
2022.
I actually thought that game was going to come out on Series X exclusively. I thought, Jesse and Corey, y'all can agree with me with this. Then I predict that Final Fantasy was going to be on Series X if Microsoft could secure that, because they were talking about getting more Japanese developers.
They've been going at Square Enix pretty hard, especially for Game Pass, because their three biggest properties are all on Game Pass, right? Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and Dragon Quest are all on Game Pass. To say that they would get an exclusive Final Fantasy is pretty outrageous, I would say, to say the least. I would say to get that game on the system is feasible, right? Because, like, I mean, 15 was on there, 13 was on there, right? It's not like out of the realm of possibility, but Final Fantasy 16 being exclusive to PlayStation is way more feasible than it being exclusive to Series X.
Yeah, Square and Square Enix have had a very good, long-standing relationship with Sony as far as like what they can and cannot do. Because you got to remember, like, one of the major factors of why like Square even got into bed with Sony was because of like the whole disc, the whole cartridge versus disc debacle.
Yeah, because Final Fantasy VII was going to be like 4 Nintendo 64 cartridges, right? Like that, and with all compressed files, no cutscenes, no nothing.
Yeah, and who was trying to spend $80 per cartridge for that?
Yeah, and I mean that's why PlayStation sold quadruple what Nintendo 64 did, because of the disc base. The disc was cheaper to produce.
Oh, for real.
But just to go back to Final Fantasy 16, like, I think as much as I would have loved to see that game come to Xbox, like just seeing that game was like I was floored. I thought 15 looked okay. I played it. I liked 15 a lot. But like just seeing this, going back to, it has that really cool 9/12 aesthetic to it. Its combat,
that retro vibe.
Yeah, that combat looks like they went to either Ninja Theory or Platinum to get that Devil May Cry-esque
which is weird because I was just like, this literally is Kingdom Hearts in some sense, and I think Kingdom Hearts.
It's the same combat system. It's the same combat system as 15 and 7 remake.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
because the way that
I love the commentary Hyperion Overwatch is giving right now in the chat, man. We got the tech analysis going on here. I love it.
Because it definitely when like the character was like when they jumped up and was just doing that Texas stuff, I'm just like, this is very Kingdom Hearts, because almost some of the special effects look like it came from Kingdom Hearts. So that's why I was getting the idea of it. But it's almost, go ahead.
It makes me really excited, because a game I've really wanted to play for a long time is Final Fantasy 14. I've just never sat down to boot it up, because it's free to play until, like, I don't know, one of the expansions, I forget. But and the fact that the team on this is the team that did Shadowbringers, which was their latest expansion in 14, and the leader, like the producer of the game, is the producer of the resurrected Realm Reborn Final Fantasy 14. Like, that on its own is like, okay, this has me pretty excited. As much as you want to say about what's his name, who produces Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 15, like
that's not Nomura.
No, I think
it's
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Tabata, maybe.
I.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Okay.
Oh,
I was about to start looking.
I will say that Final Fantasy 16. It was a great way to open the showcase with that. I think.
Hold on. For you, hold on.
Rod,
For you, hold on. For you bridge off that for a second. One thing we said in the Crossroads podcast was that Sony's been doing this thing where like they were like when they open their shows, they always bring out a legacy title that's been associated with the PlayStation brand because they did it a while back at E3 with Monster Hunter World. As their opener, they did it recently with Spider-Man. Like that was this year. Well, it's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and they did it, and they opened with with the Monster Hunter thing, like that was an E3. They opened with Monster Hunter and they closed with Last of Us. I can't remember what they closed with on the one that they opened with Miles Morales, which was a couple months ago. But notice they opened
Horizon.
They closed. Oh, they did. Yeah, they closed with Horizon. Okay, and then they opened with Final Fantasy, a legacy Sony title at this point. We might as well call it, and they closed with God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Sony has been doing major things as far as like their presentation and for how they want to roll out their games and stuff.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy was not. Well, it was a shock because nobody expected it. There was rumors that they were going to announce a Final Fantasy game, but it was.
Didn't somebody tweet it out and then delete the tweet? Like, wasn't that like leaked? Apparently, like it would be at this presentation. I think it was. There was a tweet.
Yeah, I remember. There was something. There was something that showed up and then it disappeared. Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Oh, I might have missed it then. Oh, go ahead, Chester.
My question is I wonder if it's gonna be like how long it's gonna be till it comes to the PC and Xbox, because I know it's a timed exclusive, so it's only gonna be there for a little while.
Probably a year, like remake.
Safe bet's probably a year.
I bet it comes to PC after 3 months and Xbox after a year. Because that's the way the timed exclusives seem to be going.
Actually, that's right, because they noted in the presentation that it was PlayStation and PC exclusive. They noted that, so it probably will be on. I don't think it'd be PC and PS5 right out the gate. I think the staggered approach will happen. Like they're going to get the console version out, and then as soon as they coast enough, then they'll put the PC version out, and then after that timed exclusive is up, then it shows up, on Xbox.
They did. I think. Oh, sorry, Ed. Go ahead.
Oh no, to answer you, LeRon, with the way how they release it, it's very Nintendo Direct. They're almost Nintendo Direct. Like they'll start off with a surprise game and then end it with a surprise game, because it's became an expectation of the Nintendo Direct. So to see Sony do it this way, it's really good that you started with something unexpected and then you ended with something unexpected. And I think that's why when we look at this, even for Microsoft, like when we look at that, we want that unexpected like intro and drop us with an unexpected ending, because like when you give us an unexpected ending, that just makes everybody still talk about your presentation.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
Here's what it says. It says there's no official confirmation of Final Fantasy 16 coming to PC when it launches on PlayStation, but after it launches on PlayStation 5, it will arrive on competing platforms. It says it has a 6-month contractual period of timed exclusivity on PlayStation 5.
Okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah. Which I think that's good for. To me, that's good for Microsoft, because that's still building up. I think they're still after next year. I think Microsoft's portfolio is going to be stronger than ever, because they're going to be building their platform. They're going to be building their portfolio for years for Series X. And I think if they get hits, they're good to go. Go ahead, Corey. I'm sorry.
The thing is like Microsoft has no foothold in Japan, like, and they're trying so hard to get there.
That's
and
true.
Even though like they're getting these Japanese games on the box, it's still for the American audience that's enthusiastic about Japanese games. It's not for the Japanese audience. I think that they need to somehow, like, I thought they were going to buy some sort of Japanese studio, and I still think, like, even though those rumors have kind of like really died down at this point, I still think like even investing in Sega at some point would be a really smart move for them because that gives them Atlas, that gives them Sega, that gives them shoot, who's that other studio that Sega owns that's pretty popular right now? I forget, but that gives them like
Platinum.
three.
You talking about Platinum?
Well,
Actually,
no.
no. Platinum is a partnership. It's not a.
Yeah,
they don't own
it's
it. Okay.
but like it. My point is like that gives them three kind of major studios or publishers in the Japanese market that they could maneuver around, right? Like obviously Persona has like this huge foothold in Japan and on PlayStation because PlayStation has some sort of weird contractual agreement with Atlas. But if Microsoft could somehow swing a Japanese studio, I think that would better their foothold in Japan. Getting these games is not going to do it. They have to invest in some sort of Japanese studio, and I think that's why PlayStation is such a powerhouse, especially worldwide, because they have such a reach everywhere. Everywhere they have a reach.
Which I think Microsoft will benefit off of Sega definitely with a lot of their older titles. Definitely give them Virtual Fighter, give them Outrun, give them like even some of their old titles that they could bring back. If Sega and Microsoft partner up for a lot of their old titles to be revived on their system, seeing Virtual Fighter on Series X in 120 frames per second on 4K. Good googly moogly.
Yeah, but Microsoft already has a fighting franchise in Killer Instinct.
They're not going to go back to Killer Instinct.
They're not going to go to Virtual Fighter.
Virtual Fighter.
I feel like Virtual Fighter is a dead franchise.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too.
They got to stick with DOA if they want to stay in the game.
That's what checked the mail and this what came out.
Yeah, I guess. I think the downturn for everybody was Hogwarts. Everybody, which some people,
I thought that game looked amazing.
I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah.
You want to know? People they don't care on how amazing it looks.
No. They
don't like J.K. Rowling.
Because
they don't like
J.K.
Rowling.
Right.
Yeah.
And even though they say that she's not part of it,
which is a lie because she literally has creative control over that entire universe. So
exactly.
Warner Brothers just lied to you.
They're trying to stunt PR on this one. They're trying to basically stop the hemorrhaging.
This is the thing about it, and that's why I say if GameStop is going to still be around, who knows? People were just like, "I'll buy this game when it's used." They're not putting no money to that developer, to her, or anything. They don't care who's the. Don't they? Well,
which is ridiculous. Which is ridiculous. Like here's my. Go ahead.
Oh, which is probably because of the gay community. And the straight community, I think.
Her stance is all about being transgender. That's what people are upset about.
Right, and the thing about it is just that a lot of people in the gay community definitely don't want to buy this game because of that, and we don't know if the straight community is overlooking that and still wants to buy the game. It's very weird at this time, and that's why I'm making that statement. We will see when the game comes out how it does and who buys it and stuff like that. But a lot of people just feel like because of her stance, they're not going to buy this game. And if they do want to buy it, they're going to get it used.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But here we go. I always feel like every one of these podcasts has one of these things where I always break into this segment. It's like LeRon talks to the audience.
Let's do it. Do it.
All right. Here we go. Gaming community. Hi, it's your friend LeRon here. Listen to me very closely. I understand that sometimes the people who are involved in certain things, say things that upset us or make us think that they do not like us. But when it comes to the gaming community, you got to remember one thing. Like what we do can affect people and their jobs, and you wind up putting people who are not even remotely related to J.K. Rowling out of jobs. So you've got to think about this. Yeah, your pocketbook is your best weapon, but sometimes putting the wrong people out of work is not the best move.
The thing too is to add to that, LeRon, is like this studio was already closed once by Disney, and WB bought the studio and rehired everybody to make licensed games, right? And yes, J.K. Rowling, like regardless of what you think of her, is the creative oversight on everything Harry Potter, right? But like there's hundreds of people working on this game, many of which have already voiced their opinion against her as well.
Yes.
Like that's not her, like that she's, I'm sure like they ran some story elements through her to make sure like it was consistent with especially Fantastic Beasts, since this game takes place the closest to that series. But like I'm sure she's not sitting in the studio writing the game, right, or developing any part of it.
Yeah.
And this is the same, because this is the same thing we always talk about Borderlands, how we don't like Randy Pitchford in a sense because of fish shenanigans, but people still buy Borderlands.
Man, that's different though.
People buy that game like it's going out of style.
That's so different though too, because Randy Pitchford is there.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Can I just say one thing?
No.
The original demo that we seen, if you remember, I believe you played as, Harry Potter and all, like the more famous characters, if I remember correctly. And so they must have changed completely after all this happened, or, as things were coming out, they must have realized that what they got to do is distance themselves from the main stories and not have to maybe have as little contact with her about how things happen in the game or whatever, and just made it one where you end up just making your own character. Because I'm pretty sure that those videos that were leaked was like actual main characters that you were playing.
I remember what you're talking about. Like it was like a continuation of what was going on with the old school Harry Potter stuff that was in development at the time.
And there was a game that came on Xbox 360. I think it's also on PlayStation 3. Epic did it. It was like a Metroidvania kind of game. It was based off a novel, and the novelist was anti-gay and stuff, but people still brought it and everything. And they said that he wasn't really part of the project and stuff.
I don't think she's anti-gay. I think she has some
she has some fundamental problem about trans people, and and ultimately the LGBTQ community, they will be either your best friends or your worst enemies when it comes to stuff like that. But that's another conversation we can have.
Because she just released the book under another author's name, and the killer is trans.
It's a transvestite, not trans. No, it's a man dressed up as a woman doing these murders.
Yeah.
And they said no, he's just a serial killer and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a weird thing. But that for a lot of people, they just that controversy and all of that stuff made the low light of it. Don't get me wrong, Deathloop looks really good. I think that game changed so many times.
Let me just add this final word about the whole Harry Potter thing, and the gaming community. Here's the thing I just want to say, like gamers, like we prove time and time again how entitled we are with our attitude and our sense of direction with certain things. But just remember, when some people are putting out their passion and their love about how to develop games and stuff like that, just because one person is being the bad egg in the entire group, you gotta think how many people you're putting out of jobs. You got to think how many families you're putting in jeopardy, especially right now in the middle of a pandemic. How many families you might be putting in jeopardy and things like that. So just remember, find other ways to exercise your privilege.
That's it's good to be vigilant, but you've got to, I've always said this too, that it's not always as black and white as just not supporting something. Because exactly like you said, there's these people have no control over what she says, and unfortunately, it puts their livelihood at stake, and it's not fair. It's not fair to any of them, and it just makes what she does and says even worse, because of how many people's jobs and lives she's affecting by, it's just. I
really wish her PR, her agent can just be like, "Hey, lady, chill."
Right.
Like, do you like making money? Like, you need to stop.
Also, it's like separating the art form from the author, right? Everybody loves like H.P. Lovecraft, for example, is like a notorious racist and like all this types of thing, but like
Everyone loves Cthulhu.
you see his work and his influences everywhere, right? You know,
Well,
Mark,
Lovecraft
like you see,
Country. There's that new show that's on Netflix. Lovecraft Country.
It's like, it's just like, you know, I don't know. This stuff is just so everywhere. I'm not condoning what she says at all, right? But I just think like if you are a fan of Harry Potter, you're allowed to be a fan of Harry Potter without being a fan of hers.
Without being a fan of hers.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been saying that you know, you can be a fan of the work but not the fan of the author.
Because like I love Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter's great, but like I don't really give, you know, for lack of better terms, two shits about J.K. Rowling. You know?
I can't read her books. It put me to sleep.
I mean, if she's gonna do clown shit, you know, clown shit needs to happen to her. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, we do have Demon Souls. This one's gonna be Team Japan, which is the Eco series, and Blue Point. It does look good. Demon Souls does look good.
No, that's not what we're laughing at. That's not what we're talking about.
No, something in the chat was really funny. It just says I'm not a Christian and I still eat at Chick-fil-A.
Hey,
I mean, fair.
That is true. But yeah, Demon Souls looks really good. It looks faster. For this.
Thank God.
Anybody think it's weird that Blue Point got second billing on this and not first? By the way, anybody see that?
I've seen that, but I think because Team Japan is Sony Studios, they're going to put them first, and then Blue Point is kind of like the helpers.
But they didn't. Studio Japan didn't develop this game. From Software did. If anything, they should have got first billing. Blue Point, who is really developing the game, should have got second billing or first billing. And Studio Japan, which is doing all of like only like asset work.
Well, this is the thing, because Sony owns Demon Souls. They could give it to whoever they want, and they don't have to name From Software at all.
I mean, do they though? Because Atlas published it.
Okay, that was a little bit of shade right there.
No, it's true. Sony owns the rights to Demon Souls.
Yeah. Why didn't they publish it here? Why did Atlas publish it here?
Yeah.
It was a deal that they made, and what they do here doesn't have. If they make a deal in Japan, they make that deal in Japan. Because why didn't Atlas get the chance to do publish Dark Souls?
Because it's a different franchise. That's why it's called Dark Souls and not Demon Souls 2.
Well, yeah.
And they wanted to get it multi-platform.
Yeah, but wouldn't Atlas have to work with From Software to do that also?
They didn't. Namco Bandai published it.
I'm talking about Demon Souls.
I mean, From Software was on the splash screen.
Them publishing Demon Souls. Publishing Demon Souls, wouldn't From Software also go through Atlas to publish Dark Souls?
I mean, no, because they're different franchises.
Isn't this the infuriating thing about licensing? This is the most infuriating thing about licensing.
All right, anyways, let's just talk about how cool Demon Souls looks. I don't really feel like having another giant conversation. My head already hurts.
No.
I had to go.
Can you answer the viewer question real fast?
Headphones are those? Oh, these are 8-year-old skull candies that my friend got a pair of tie-dye ones and he gave them to me. So they're just skull candies plugged into my microphone. They actually sound really good. I think they were only like $50, but he gave them to me and they still work. So
they showed the Wonderland game that I guess now it's just coming out for everything because it's coming out for Series X, Switch, and PlayStation 5. I know it was shown the first time they announced it was for Switch, but I think now PlayStation 5 got it, is getting it, and then I just seen today that Xbox was getting it because I think they was doing pre-orders for it.
Wonderland kind of went right over me.
It's a nice kids game.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks neat, but like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even remember. I don't even remember what it was like. What it looked like. I
Think
watched.
Think of Nights.
It looked like Nights into Dreams, and Mario Odyssey had a baby, and this is what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, God of War Ragnarok, because we're gonna move on to the Nintendo Direct one. God of War Ragnarok. Goodness,
It's awesome. That's a good name.
I think you said that name, LeRon. God of War Ragnarok on
Well,
the
that's-
crossroads. No,
that-
just like, oh dang it.
That's what it's called, right? That's the title.
We don't know the actual official title. We don't know if it's going to be called Ragnarok God of War, or it's going to be called God of War Ragnarok, or it's going to be God of War 2 Ragnarok. We don't know what's.
Excuse me.
Right,
This
'cause
is
it's
God
got
of War
Ragnarok.
5. Okay, God of War 5.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Officially,
Whoa.
it should be the 5th numbered game in the series. Should officially.
It's that's like the one thing everybody's like, oh, those old original games that everybody loved 10, 15 years ago don't exist, and we all hate them now because you had a threesome to get health in them to rotate the sticks or whatever. I'm like,
Hey, the circle move. That's all I'm going to say. The circle move.
it works.
Okay,
What?
so I have to ask because Jesse, I got to hear this from you. Who do you think had the best kind of like surprise reveal? Halo Infinite, God of War, or Breath of the Wild 2?
Those are the only games you given?
Just those three choices.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't like. They're all kind of like, in my opinion, they're all. I think I relate this Ragnarok, at least in the U.S. I related this like the same as like when we got the Metroid Prime 4, logo and at Nintendo's. I don't know, like, honestly, like, it's hard to put my own personally for me, like, either Breath of the Wild, like the Breath of the Wild 2, I think was better for me personally, just because like, all of us kind of hoped that we would get a continuation and not just another new Zelda game and starting all over again, kind of like they've done, like they usually do, other than, like Majora's Mask. But because it's really hard for me and like to speak for a person who likes God of War, because I don't at all. This did absolutely nothing for me.
See,
I love that. I love that political answer. I love that.
well, boss. What would you rate it, or what do you think? Halo Infinite reveal, Breath of the Wild 2,
the original
God
reveal
War.
of Halo Infinite, or the one that was in the showcase?
The original one, like when they first showed it.
Well, here. Okay, I'm gonna go in order of worst to best. Okay, I think the God of War reveal, it did the thing that I hate the most, is just a logo reveal, which like
Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid
like,
Prime, yeah.
As excited as I am for Metroid Prime 4, that reveal sucked.
That reveal,
So, yeah.
that was questionable content.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
there was no substance to that Metroid Prime 4
No.
reveal. All it was we just saw black, then we saw the logo, and that was it. There was barely any music. There was no dialogue.
This was such Final Fantasy VII when the stars come,
Yeah.
and it does that thing. That's what it reminded me of. Like,
well, for Metroid Prime
Yeah.
4, it just looked like somebody like took. It looked like a really bad Photoshop, to be honest with you. Like it looked like somebody took the Metroid Prime logo from the first game and just took the most generic font 4 that they could find and just put like.
It also looked like Nintendo was like, we gotta get every last second out of our presentation
Right,
time.
yeah.
So someone ran up on stage with a piece of paper and like,
Steve, we need you to put
it
together a Metroid Prime 4 logo. Oh, what do you want me to do? I don't care. Just throw a 4 on the logo.
Well, it's kind of like the same way that I feel about the Black Ops. Like I've hated the whole just like Black Ops, like having the pillar things, and it's like I'm glad that with this new Black Ops game they're going to be getting away from that, because I made a joke when Black Ops 4 came out that I took the logo for 4, I changed the color of it a little bit, and then I used a part of the monster logo to cross it out to say that was going to be the Black Ops 5.
Wow.
because I mean it's not like it's kind of lazy. Like I like that. I know people have been giving it crap about, like the new Black Ops having a super long title, but I'd prefer that over just a number, like just putting whatever at the end of it. And I mean, I know Final Fantasy and stuff has been doing that, but they usually have it's Final Fantasy 7 or whatever, and a lot of times they'll have like an extension to the name or something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, it's like the thing is like I said, like it's good to know that a new God of War is coming sooner than maybe people would have expected, possibly. But like that's exciting. But as far as the reveal goes, I like I said, and like you guys are kind of saying, and it's like the Metroid Prime thing. Yeah, you're excited, but it could have been done better. And it is what it is, though. If they don't have anything to show, like what do you do then? I mean, it's just they kind of want to get people excited for next generation.
Yeah, definitely.
Agreed.
LeRon, how would you rank it?
Whoa!
Hold on. Corey wasn't finished.
I said one thing.
I thought you did.
Whoa! Whoa! I thought the Halo one was cool, like showing off the slip space engine, but they didn't really give us any gameplay or anything. And and this is probably my Nintendo bias, but like I thought the Breath of the Wild 2 one was the best one, because they showed us what's probably going to be a cutscene and engine, showing us that we are continuing the story from the first one. And maybe it's just because I'm more invested in Breath of the Wild than any of these other games, right? Like again, God of War, amazing game, loved it. I love that I love the whole series, right? I even liked Ascension. I thought Ascension was fun. But they didn't show us anything, and Zelda showed us like, okay, we're getting like a Majora's Mask darker vibe from this, and it got me excited for what's going to happen with these characters. And I don't know, like I said, maybe I'm more invested in that world than these other ones, but that one was definitely the most exciting for me as a fan of the series and a fan of Zelda. And I mean, if you're just giving us those three, that's like the one that's the best for me.
I pretty much agree with what Corey said, because I put it Halo Infinite, then God of War, and then Breath of the Wild 2. And mainly, I don't really have a Nintendo bias, but because like out of all my favorite franchises from Nintendo, it's Metroid. But you just heard how we just talked about Metroid Prime.
Well, like I try to be like super unbiased towards. I know everybody has their biases, but I try to be realistic about stuff. Not to bring Nintendo Power Block into this, but I think that's why that show worked so well for so long, is because Ed is this super hyped, let's go Super Nintendo fanboy, and I kind of like am the other side of that. Like I think that I'm not trying to dog on you, Ed. I'm just saying like. I think that's why that show works so well, and like I try to give that approach to everything that we're doing, and
you're the yin to his yin.
Our console centric shows should be celebrating what it is, and like that's why we've kind of made the teams the way they are, I loved being on Pow Block when it used to be the three of us, but unfortunately with the way life is right now, I don't get to play on it as much as I would like to, so therefore I don't see, like me not being on the show isn't really a loss because I'm, I wouldn't be able to, focus on things that we're talking about because I just don't have the time to invest in it.
And the thing with the focus shows is that as much as people say that I'm Nintendo biased, and yeah, in a way I am. I have more Xbox and PlayStation titles as the same way I have Nintendo.
Wait. Hold on a second. Nintendo doesn't have that many titles.
Oh,
yes, they do.
Know. You don't know the library that I have compared to.
No. What I'm saying is like volumetrically speaking, like like there's still more franchises that hit the other consoles than hit Nintendo.
Right, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying in length. That if I own like 80 Xbox games and I own 80 PlayStation games, I own 80 Switch games, digitally and physically together.
How do you keep it so balanced?
Dude,
he keeps a chart.
My library is woefully slanted.
Yeah, he keeps it. LeRon, he just keeps a chart, and it's just like this little thing on his phone or his watch that says, "Okay, your PlayStation collection is overtaking your Xbox collection. Time to start buying the green boxes."
Look, just because Code Vein was $20 at Best Buy, did like $9 at Target for Xbox. I bought the game double. I also bought. Dude, I went to Target. Side tangent. I went to Target Thursday because I went to go buy Friday because I went to go. Everybody was talking to me, go buy Death Stranding. So it's only $30, like brand new, like they had it on clearance. Deal. So I went and bought Death Stranding, but I'm like, you know what? Let me start by Target and see what they got. So looking at this stuff, went to the clearance aisle to see what's going on. Code Vein there was like $15 for PS4. Code Vein for Xbox One was only $9. I'm like, but both of them. Okay, I'm gonna take this Xbox One and take my tip right to the register and shut up. So, you're a rarity as far as gaming goes because typically the way it goes for me is like whichever system either is having exactly what I want or is giving me the most enjoyment. That's typically where I will buy the games first from. There was a time when I had multiple consoles, and I would try to do that balancing act. I already got this game. I've already got this game on this series platform, so I'll just go ahead and continue buying it on this one or stuff like that. But for the most part now, it's like wherever I get my hands on the game first at, or if it's available certain places, in a more accessible way, which is why I kind of became a PC gamer. Also there's also the thing of like, where am I going to get the best experience from, and that's kind of what shifted me to being a PC gamer. And you guys are so awesome for talking me getting back into the console sphere. Yeah. Well, my quick ranking is God of War, Halo Infinite, and Breath of the Wild, because we gotta get.
Is that from low to high or
low to high?
Okay, low to okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I'm probably the same. Like for me, Breath of the Wild and Halo are pretty close, just because like
they showed
the
stuff.
thing. No, because the thing with the Halo one that I really liked is it had a little bit of like uncertainty. Like you didn't know what it was right away. Like, like it kind of built.
Yeah,
because you're like, what are all these like weird animal, like
the water and
like
stuff
just,
and everything.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, wait a minute, like, and then all of a sudden you see the warthog, driving through the, and stuff like that. I really liked that uncertainty of what exactly you were seeing, that made it interesting to me. Like,
yeah,
and then, you're excited to know that it was Halo, but like Corey said, the reason that I put, Breath of the Wild ahead of it is they kind of slightly hit on some of like what's going to be happening in the game and giving you little tiny pieces of a story and which is, not something that Halo really, like, I mean, yeah, they made it seem like it was going to be very expansive and, like possibly on the rings, of, the Halo or whatever, but beyond that, there wasn't a whole lot to it. So
Yeah, Breath of the Wild caused many theories of what the game was going to be, and
yeah.
and me and Corey has just discussed it so much. I think Halo Infinite was just like, what is this? And like seeing that they're doing a new engine, and Halo Infinite is going to be the first game on that engine. That was just like really cool to see, because we haven't seen something like that from Microsoft or at an E3 press conference. And then God of War, not to knock it or anything, but I knew that it was coming. It was just a matter of when it was coming, and to just see them show that God of War Ragnarok is back. I'm like, well, we known that because of the ending of part 2, unless y'all pull off some crazy mess and just switch the whole thing up, a la Kingdom Hearts.
Don't
Hey,
get
man.
me started. Don't get me started.
What about
Let's move on right now.
Yes,
Don't get me
because okay, everybody, as the Phoenix down and a roast from a drunk has revived me. A new Nintendo Mini Partner Direct was shown. A lot of new announcements were shown. Who can make me a Monster Hunter Rising shirt? Because I just, like I said, I put on my Twitter at that Retro. I put Capcom has served me everything, and I was already dead and didn't feel like I needed to see anymore. But a Phoenix Down came on me, and then someone beat up a drum from a Capcom game and threw a roast on me, and I got fully healed up because potions don't really work in that much in Final Fantasy. But yeah, this Mini Direct, I kind of want almost everything, and it was kind of not introducing. It was kind of weird seeing like Starper Elite 4 come to Switch. I'm like,
that was weird.
Well,
that was weird.
2 and 3 ended up coming at some point.
It did.
Yeah.
Wait, all right, digital, because I don't think I ever remember seeing them on shelves.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really buy physical stuff for Switch unless it's like Zelda or Fire Emblem or something. So,
who had that boxing game? Was it Switch? Oh no, I think that was the last Direct.
what, the fitness boxing?
Yeah, that was this Direct.
Yeah, this was like
There was
the
one,
sequel
but there
to
was
that.
but who had the Rocky one?
Oh, that was the last.
Oh,
Direct.
that was yeah.
Okay.
That game made me really sad because I love Rocky so much, and like that just was like, oh my gosh, this is
questionable content.
I'm a Karate Kid fan.
I've never seen the Karate Kid.
I love
wow.
Karate Kid.
Wow.
But yeah, I think I might try the fitness boxing because they have rhythm in it. So it's just like, music game and I could box. LeRon, I would love to see you doing it. Just like you just punching everything. So you having a day at work or
And
anything.
I think you just want to watch LeRon do anything.
Let's be fair. Let's be honest.
I don't have nothing to drink.
In all honesty, like games that are a little on the nose and gimmicky like that. That's why I never got into Just Dance. Because it's just a little way too gimmicky, and then you just feel. To me, I just feel all fake doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say the most realistic thing like that I feel like actually does something that they have that's out is the Ring Fit game. Like, at least it's not just a gimmick. It literally is.
It does something.
Like an exercise tool that's being gamified.
I just need to go ahead and buy one. I mean,
I ended up grabbing it when I was in Upper Michigan because I wasn't sure whether we would have it here available or not.
Yeah,
and for the most part, I haven't seen it around here. But I think
Target?
the other day I did see one left at Target. But
Okay,
I'm glad I have it though. That they had like six copies of it at the store that I was at in Upper Michigan. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna grab it now just to make sure. But I've been enjoying that game, by the way, and the kids, Max has been playing it and stuff too. But
my main thing is if I get the Ring Fit, like the roommate's just gonna have to be they're just gonna have to understand that a console is coming to the main TV downstairs because I'm not playing it upstairs in my room. They're not gonna hear my because I'm doing the running and all that stuff. Nah, like they're just gonna be like, hey, like I got the TV now.
Right. I already pre-ordered this, but Ori and the Will of the Wisp is coming to Switch.
It's already there.
It's available now digitally. But you can pre-order the physical collection copy. I told LeRon this earlier. I spent $179 for this thing.
Why is it so much?
It has the first and second game on it.
I know that,
soundtrack
but...
and some other stuff. It's I am 8-bit. They're doing it.
Yeah, that's why. Never mind. You answered my question.
So wait, what's the extra $60?
I am 8-bit surcharge for rare, like a limited edition.
Wow.
Basically, is it?
Wow. I mean, Ori better be my pet in my house or something for $60 additional dollars. I'd something.
Well, I know definitely. Me and Corey had talked about it. We was talking about because it came out in March. Right now, with them releasing it, is 6 months. Like, so they probably took 6 months extra to like get it ready for the Switch. Important thing. I know a lot of people were just like, but I thought Microsoft wasn't going to be doing like some first party games or anything like that.
I texted you in the chat. I was like, remember when Microsoft said they had no plans to bring more games anywhere else, and people were yelling at us on PalBlock because we said, well, Ori 2 would be a perfect fit for the Switch, and we were like, they already said they're not doing that. Well, joke's on you,
right?
Effers.
Yeah, because I wouldn't be surprised if Wasteland 3 comes to it.
Gotta watch my mouth. Well, my kid repeats stuff now. So.
Well, I think part of the thing is too is there was this idea that I do honestly think was kind of being looked at and worked on, seeing if the xCloud and stuff could come to Switch. But if that's no longer going to be a thing that happens, I think this, that would have been their first priority. But if that doesn't happen, then they would rather just do it this way then, because at this point, it does kind of suck for people who maybe don't have an Xbox and, this is where they got the first Ori or whatever.
And I know we talked about Game Pass coming to Switch, and I now with the thing with the Apple situation and everything, definitely if they put Game Pass Ultimate and just even Ultimate on Switch, having it on PC, Switch, and on Xbox, that would be real awesome. And include Xbox on xCloud. That would be worth it.
I still hope it does come to Xbox as well, so people have the option with these small disk space to just play games streaming if they don't want to waste the hard drive space. I've been saying that now since basically since xCloud has been
because I think last week Jesse and you was talking about it.
Yeah,
just like,
and then I did talk about it on Arsenal X, I believe, last week as well. So, but
I'm still like, I don't know if it's coming to, as much as I would love to see that come.
It is.
I don't either. I think that would have been part of some big announcement, and I just don't think it is. I would love to be wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Because let's be fair, they really haven't said much more about xCloud. I mean, I would think that they would have a whole
well, isn't it out next week?
Just focusing it. Yeah. I would think they would I'm thinking that we're going to have something next week or this week.
Well, they said they're doing one more presentation too, because they still have to detail prices on controllers, which I think controllers are going to be the same price, but controllers, what they're going to do about Xbox Design Lab controllers, because those are probably going to end up switching over eventually from the Xbox One to the Series X controllers, what those memory units are going to cost. there's a lot of details we still don't know about accessories. Are they going to make like the way that PlayStation's making their gold headset? Or are they going to reveal an Xbox Series X Dolby Atmos special edition headset? Right, like. You know what I mean? There's a lot that we still don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of the Xbox, the Xbox branded headphones that you can get right now are all Dolby Atmos. Like they all have Dolby Atmos usually right on the box saying that it supports it.
Yeah.
Just because the One X is what brought Dolby Atmos finally to the console.
Yeah.
For Xbox, I believe that was something that was supported through PS4 Pro as well.
What, Dolby Atmos?
Dolby Atmos.
No, it's an Xbox
Or is it
exclusive.
something
That's why
different?
Sony's doing the 3D
okay.
audio thing.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I don't know why I thought that they had Dolby Atmos on there as well, but yeah. So like, I mean, I don't know. I definitely would think that they would maybe focus on both of them. Well, I mean, Sony kind of focused on the whole audio stuff quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think I think that a lot of that stuff though is going to be really hard to focus on. And, kudos to Sony kind of talking about it as much as I did kind of joke around about it, about how long they talked about it, the audio. But, it's because it's hard. Like if you don't have like headphones that support something, or, like people are just listening to it on their phone or whatever, how are you supposed to really understand the difference if you're not able to have something to actually hear it? Like that's the thing, is to push something like that, you've almost got to be using that technology in your thing that's kind of showing it off, and not everyone unfortunately might have something that will support that, unless it is one of those things like Dolby Atmos, where like even if you don't have Dolby Atmos specific headphones, it still will sound better. But the thing that's going to be different, that Sony has kind of always had the upper hand on with audio, is Microsoft or the Xbox has never supported USB audio, like headphones. And so like all the headphones that I have that have the ability for 7.1 surround sound, I can't really use them in their full potential through my Xbox right now, because you can only get that through the driver that's inside the USB part, or that's an actual program that gets downloaded on the PC to enable the to enable the 7.1. Now, Dolby Atmos is a different software-based version of that with some tweaks to it, and so with that, I can hear things differently on my One X, but I still don't know exactly how close to the 7.1 it's going to hit, or if it's just like a standard type of thing. So I mean, there like all that stuff is just really hard to talk about, and without like some kind of showing you how
Context.
the difference, it's difficult, unfortunately, but yeah, I do hope they do kind of like talk at least a little bit about some of those kind of new features and things that we're getting, like.
We'll come back to that because we're still talking about the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No,
any
it's
thoughts,
fine.
anybody, for the Nintendo Direct?
I thought it was one of the better ones, like the partner showcase. It was the one that got me the most excited this year. Like I think Monster Hunter looks awesome. Monster Hunter Rise looks awesome. Monster Hunter Stories 2 looks really awesome. Like I'm like a casual fan of Monster Hunter at best, but these two games, like Monster Hunter World was a game that I'm like, okay, I really want to sink some time into this, but then like I have a kid, I can't really sit there and like okay, guys, I got like 30 minutes. Can we go hunt a monster? No? Okay. Well, I guess I'll just move on to something else, which I still put like 20 hours into that game. I mean, not a lot, but it was fun. What I played was really fun. And now that if I can play that type of experience in a handheld style situation and then play it on the TV when I can is like really exciting to me. I thought this was one of the better partner showcases for sure. What else was there that I was really excited? Ed, what was there I was excited for? You know me better than I know me.
Let's see. Ori 2.
Ori 2 definitely.
Was Hades part of it? I think
Hades looks cool.
Hades was on it. Yep.
That thing shot up to number 1 like that.
The only thing that bothers me about Hades is that it's a roguelite, and I don't like those at all. But I mean, Dead Cells got me. Maybe Hades will get me. So,
Dead Cells got me too.
Mm-hmm.
Dead Cells is so good.
I mean,
which? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, It just was. I thought it was one of their better ones. The last one was, for me, it was like, oh boy, did they really even need this Nintendo Direct partner presentation? And like, I get that they have, contracts to fulfill and everything and deals that they made, and they need to get these out based on their partnerships with people. But like, that last one was such a slog, and this one I was like, oh my gosh, what's the next announcement? Even like Rune Factory 5 was like, okay, I see what you're doing with this. I'm not really excited for it, but that was cool that they were like, showing.
The Empire of the Sun thing, I kind of like the gangster one. I was just like, oh, I need the soundtrack. And then she did a run on Salvation. I'm just like, whoever did this song, I need to marry. But LeRon, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Monster Hunter Rise was definitely the highlight of that whole thing for me, for sure.
I love when anybody I associate myself with gets excited about Monster Hunter stuff. I do.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a series I've always been like vaguely interested in, especially because like I'm such a big Destiny fan, and I know it's not the same type of game, but it kind of is, and like I would really like to go through and be like, okay, this looks cool, this looks awesome. By the way, Monster Hunter World has one of the best character creators of all time.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw that out there.
Yes.
That's very important to me as a human being, that I can create a hunter that looks really cool looking.
You get to make a hunter that looks damn near exactly like you.
Yeah.
It's eerie how close people have been able to make. Like, I've seen people show like a nice headshot of themselves, and then they show their character in Monster Hunter. And it's like, dude, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm disgusting looking, so I'm not trying to make a character that looks like me. I always make something that looks different.
I'm a black samurai, so with green hair.
I'm kind of weird because like I feel like a lot of video games don't get like Black American or African American or African centric skin tones correct all the time. It's either way too dark or it's like like a Caucasian person with a little bit of brown in
it. You have Mass Effect, you have Saints Row the Third, and then you have Monster Hunter. So you have America, Japan.
Oh, you know what? That's the crazy part, because in Mass Effect, I feel like the black NPC characters look better than the black created characters that you can make. But we can say that for the Mass Effect discussion, which is coming up soon.
Yes. So
okay, but I know you're wondering what my thoughts were on the partner showcase. Yeah. So I'll just say the games that jumped out at me the most out of all of it. Monster Hunter Stories 2, like that was a sequel that I was praying would come. Even though I was like, you know what, if Monster Hunter Stories is a one and done, I get it, because the Monster Hunter Stories anime they haven't produced any new episodes in over 2 years now. So
oh wow,
yeah.
Why not, LeRon?
I honestly, I don't know. Like, it kind of fell off a cliff too. Like, they were like, because here's the funny thing about it. See, this is my Monster Hunter geek coming out now. Monster Hunter Stories. Like, when the game launched in Japan first, it got so popular that they knew they were going to localize it and bring it to the U.S. And an anime series started. The anime series, like, kind of paralleled the story of what was going on. The characters weren't exactly the same from the game and the anime, but then they introduced 4 new bad guys in the anime series, and those characters wound up being in the DLC in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
The US side, we never got the DLC. And then all of a sudden, like, the anime fell off a cliff. Like, like, no more episodes. And if I'm not mistaken, it ended on a cliffhanger. I haven't watched all of them yet. I've watched like the first 16 episodes. So when we get to Monster Hunter Stories 2, the game, a lot of us were like, we would love for a sequel to happen. Hell, we would love for them to port Monster Hunter Stories directly to the Switch. We'll buy it again. Stuff like that. So seeing a Monster Hunter Stories 2 announcement was just more than we could have ultimately asked for, and that was my number one pick for the partner direct. Then the next one would probably, I'm not gonna say Monster Hunter Rise just yet, because I'm kind of still, I need to see more on it, but it's on my list as well. Disgaea 6, we knew a Disgaea game was coming, but what kind of like stole the show is the fact that it's supposed to be a Switch exclusive. That's kind of what stole the show there, as far as I'm concerned. And was Hades, you know what? I've been playing this little game. I've been playing this little game of Hades about whether or not I'll get it, because it was on the Epic Game Store for like forever. And I was thinking about getting it, but I was like, it's in pre-release stage, and I don't typically like a lot of games that are in pre-release. I understand that sometimes, like, us consumers are the glue that gets the game to finally release and stuff like that. But I've always been kind of skeptical of pre-release games. I don't know why that is, but it's coming to Switch now, and I'm like, you know what? If anything, that's like the perfect platform for me to play it on. So Hades might finally get bought for me on the Switch, and the other one, of course, was Ori. It's one of those ones where it's like it just seems like it's like a good match. I know a lot of people out there who are Xbox and PC gamers are probably going to be mad at me for saying that, but it looks like it's the perfect partnership, as far as it goes.
I mean, I think Microsoft has been really smart about putting games where they make sense. Cuphead coming to PlayStation 4. I said this when it came out, like, that controller is the perfect controller for Cuphead. The face buttons and the D-pad are on the same plane. I think they have, of the current generation of consoles, I think they have the best D-pad. I still hate the D-pad on the Switch Pro controller. That thing needs a revamp, but I think Microsoft's just been really smart of where they put their games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, so
which brings up why you mentioned Hades, and I asked you guys this question before we get quickly into our analysis. Seems that Hades is doing amazing on Switch. Do we like games having a second or third chance when it comes out to your platform of choice? So, if whether it's an indie game, a third party, or first party, a port or something like that, do you guys think that when the game gets a second or a third chance, that it's good? It's a good sign for gamers?
I think so. I can be really cynical when it comes to stuff like this. Like, sometimes I'm like, did we actually need this version of this game? I say that a lot more times than not. But at the same time, I appreciate the fact that, if we want to get it out to a bigger audience, we need to consider that. We shouldn't always limit ourselves to that. Which is why like you get like that little screeching sound in the back of your head whenever I hear exclusives. It's like why are you I get it, this is how you're going to move this system or this brand, but at the same time limiting the market to what they can and cannot get, sometimes is like one of the worst things that that we can deal with. So whenever I get more and more games that we thought were this exclusive and all of a sudden show up on these systems, I get so excited and hyped up about it. It doesn't always mean I'm going to double dip and buy it again. It all depends on how much I really love it in the first place. What were you about to say, Ed? What were you about to say, Ed?
I will do my hand down because and even though this might also deal with backwards compatibility, I've never got a chance to play Dead Space 1 and 2, and I'm glad that it's on Xbox One that I get to play this game. And so now I get to experience that stuff that everybody missed. When Dead Cells was all on PC, a lot of us missed it, and it came when they announced that that it was coming to Switch and the pre-orders was live. People ran to their computers and got it. And they was just like, we love that it's coming to Switch and PlayStation. We love that it's being digital. I'll wait for the physical, and everybody went out and got the physical.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
I know you get.
And I guess, and we was even talking about Monster Hunter Tribe before we even started the show. I feel like, I got a chance to understand what Monster Hunter Tribe was, but I didn't actually understand it until Ultimate 3 came out. I feel like Ultimate 3 really just like, oh, now I get why people like the Monster Hunter series.
Hang on a second. Monster Hunter Tri is the best version of Monster Hunter 3, with the exception of maybe Portable Third. Because Portable Third was actually Capcom's attempt to fix the problems of Monster Hunter Tri. Monster Hunter Tri, in my opinion, was a flawed game, and they suckered me into buying a Wii. Monster Hunter Tri was the only reason why I bought a Wii.
but just like for Monster Hunter 3 in general, to get that Ultimate on Wii U, I was just like, now I get it. I think because I was introduced to Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter Ultimate 3, I was like, now I get it. But the same thing with Call of Duty. It was just like, I don't get why everybody's liking this game, but then try giving that game a try with some of the later games and stuff. Even though that doesn't pertain to the question, like playing Advanced Warfare and like playing even Modern Warfare, I'm like, okay, now I'll get why people like the Call of Duty series. I feel like this is, to me personally, this series is getting another try with me, even though it's a different game, but it's still in the same series.
Now here's what I'll say about the whole second or third chance. I'm kind of pragmatic about the approach sometimes on this stuff, because when you mentioned Dead Cells, for example, when I saw Dead Cells, when it was initially like just a PC exclusive, I was like, oh man, this is a wonderful game, but I'm not going to get it on the PC. I have ultra wide monitors and stuff like that. That game is not going to look that polished, on my PC setup. But when it came out for the Switch, I got the digital version. Just like Wargroove, it came out on the Switch, I got the digital version. Stuff like that. So I'm pragmatic about that. I'm like, okay, if this is where the experience is at, I'm going to wait on it. But if it comes over to another system where I feel like the experience is going to be better for me, that's when my pragmatism shows up, and I didn't get it here, but I'm going to get it here. It's kind of reversed when it comes to console games going to the PC, because as you guys saw, like even though I had a copy of Horizon for PS4, I didn't get it and start playing it till it came on the PC. So I am one of those weird gamers.
They did the same thing to Death Stranding. But what about you, Jesse?
I'm sorry. What was I? It's like it's loud here, so I missed what.
When the game gets a second or third chance on your platform of choice, so it kind of like a re-release and stuff like that.
I think one of the last shows or something I kind of talked about, like, I love this just because, especially when we get, like, I know a lot of people like to give Nintendo crap for re-releasing games that were on previous consoles, like with what we've got with the Wii U, but I enjoy that happening, and I do like when we see games go on multiple consoles that maybe weren't initially.
Hey, Jesse, hang on.
Yeah.
The thing that burns me up about that is that they re-release a game that's old as crap for $60. That's what burns me up.
Doom 2016 on Switch is still $60. By the way.
Yeah, which like I don't agree with that. Like this as much as I love Mario and stuff like that, I really was disappointed with the with the 3D collection thing because I initially thought that they were actually going to be like at least trying to like, you know, improve these games a little bit and not, you know, but yeah, it sounds like they're just straight ports of them.
I've played a little bit of it. I've played a little bit of each of them. Mario Galaxy is actually in HD and it looks really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, they've all been.
The thing is I want Mario 64 done like we've talked about, in the Odyssey engine.
I think,
and like actually brought to, you know, modern day.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
like style.
I think, you know, I played Mario 64. By the way, not a very fun game anymore after all these other Mario games have come out.
Really?
Like I love Mario 64, but like when you're so used to swinging that right stick as a camera in every single game since that game came out, and like you go to swing it and it's just the C buttons on the N64, you could press it like left or right and it would swing the camera for you, and that's all the right stick does is like, oh boy, I am like really just not in tune with the Nintendo 64 controller anymore. Like it's just been so long.
That's the thing. That's why even like Resident Evil 4 it's just I want that game redone. I want it remastered.
Everybody wants that one. Well, no. They want Code Veronica more than they want Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
I think they want to me, I think they want Code Veronica first.
then Resident Evil 4. Just keep with the just keep with the storyline.
I would take that. I just can't with y'all with Resident Evil 4. I love that game.
That's fine.
No, we're not knocking the love for it. Like there's just some fundamental things about the game itself.
I don't personally love it, but
and it's okay to like that game.
Honestly, it wasn't one of my favorites either. You know, like the overall focus like shifting all of a sudden to you know, like Leon, and then Leon just being a completely different character than what he was in the last time we saw him, kind of like pulled me out of the whole hype of Resident Evil 4. You know, at that point, you know, I was like,
for me, it was like everything just completely changed. It went from zombies to being just crazy people.
Yeah,
that's why I personally had such a hard time getting into any Resident Evil after, you know, like Code Veronica and stuff, is just because I just did not like the angle that they went in, but
they tried to appease you with Resident Evil 6. They had a flavor for everybody in that game. You like your zombies, we got you. You like your cracked out people on parasites, we got you.
Well,
you like just being an enemy of a corporation, we got you.
Well, the thing, like what ended up happening ultimately for me, anyways, is that I didn't mind the whole crazy people thing, but the real change that they needed to make was to go first person. Because like once Resident Evil 7 came out, I was just like, dude, this like just your environments and everything that's going on in this game is just so good that I don't care that you're going against crazy people. Like it was enough to push me over the edge of, okay, like now, like, yeah, maybe to me personally, I still don't consider this a Resident Evil game, but this is one hell of a horror game, you know, like that, like that's how I look at the Resident Evil 7, like, because that's when it finally pulled me back, and I am absolutely all in on 8, even though there's like werewolves and everything. Like I'm looking forward to it because it's first person, and to me, it's just going to be a really good horror game experience.
It brought back that experience, like you just said, Jesse, like bringing back that experience. Because like 4, 5, and 6 is so action based because they were set up so well in America, and it was more of a direction thing, trying to find out which direction to take the Resident Evil series with it. And
because they didn't want to keep on beating the same drum. I completely understood what they were doing. And it did, you know, inspire a whole different, a whole different genre then after that kind of horror game. But we always joke about Resident Evil 4. I always give it a real hard time. But ultimately, like I said, like I honestly absolutely would love that game. It's just ultimately the only problem I had with it was the controls going back to it. I just wasn't a fan of the controls. But anyways, like it just wasn't for me as much as I really wanted it to be, is all. And when you love a franchise so much, like I did the Resident Evil, like I just every single one from the beginning on, like I was just all in, and then they made that just hard turn, and I just was not ready for it.
Yeah, I agree. Like Resident Evil got stale to me by the time Resident Evil 4 came out, and it wasn't just, I don't know, maybe part of it was because I wasn't ready for the style change or anything, like I know for sure after Code Veronica, like cuz Code Veronica like showed an update to like the other games. It showed an update to like Resident Evil 1, 2 and 3. And stuff like that. So when Resident Evil 4 came out, it was like, why'd y'all change it when y'all, in my opinion, just ultimately refined what the core of Resident Evil was. Yeah. So what's crazy though? Like, so Resident Evil 4 basically gave me franchise fatigue, but it also gave me fatigue to the entire survival horror genre. At that point, I was tired of those games. So imagine my surprise when a game that tried to copycat Resident Evil 4 comes out called Dead Space, and they do everything that Resident Evil 4 did, but they did it better. They fixed the controls, they fixed the narrative, they fixed the pacing. Like and Dead Space 4 wound up. I mean Dead Space 1 4. I keep praying for Dead Space 4. Dead Space 1 comes out, and basically, like once again, I finally had a game that stressed me out the same way playing the original Resident Evil 1 did way back in the day on PS1.
Well, it's more of sometimes when you're introducing a new mechanic and a new gameplay style, there's going to be others that's going to take it and evolve it and stuff. Yeah. So Dead Space probably involved, but because you gotta actually think about, like, if it wasn't because of Resident Evil, we wouldn't have a game like Tomb Raider and Horizon and Gears of War with this over the shoulder kind of gameplay.
Yeah, I mean Cliffy B was actually very adamant that Resident Evil 4 was such a heavy influence on the way that Gears evolved since they started it, right? Because
Oh no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not bashing Resident Evil 4 at all.
No, but it's the same as like Final Fantasy 7 or Mario 64. It was a time and place game. It was revolutionary at the time, and if you go back to it now, it's just like there are definitely better versions of this game out now, or you know, more evolved versions. Like I said, Mario 64 is one of my favorite games of all time.
And that's actually kind of how we got on this.
Yeah, actually, like I was listening to the Giant Beastcast today because I went into work for a little bit today, and like they were talking about the Mario collection, and they were like, yeah, Mario 64, one of the greatest games of all time, one of my favorite games, one of the most influential games. Maybe it's time to put that to bed and just remember it how we used to instead of trying to play it now. And I played it last night. I got 4 or 5 stars last night just playing around with it, and I was like, maybe they're right, you know? Like,
so dare we say the best Mario 64 experience, if it's not on the 64, it might be on the 3DS?
Yeah, I mean, that I would probably say that, right? Like, I just I like, don't get me wrong, Sunshine and Odyssey, or Sunshine and Galaxy actually play a lot better, but Galaxy still kind of requires you to have some sort of motion control, which kind of sucks.
Oh no!
Yeah, I actually had to take my Joy-Cons off to play it.
Can I just say something really quick? And I know this isn't exactly, but like one of the things that the new Crash Bandicoot is doing, I think, is really, really good. That I would love to see in a 3D Mario game where you have like the cursor thing that shows you where you're gonna land, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I would really like something like that in like those kind of like those 3D Mario games like that. I think I might prefer it a little bit better. Like
that's why I like Mario 3D World so much, is because like it kind of does that in a way with like a shadow. It doesn't have like a pointer that says you're gonna land here, but there's like a shadow where you're gonna possibly
that's what I was about to say. Like, I think Nintendo thinks that using the shadow for your characters, because that's how Sunshine was. Like when you're hovering with the water, and you can sometimes see your shadow where you're at before you land.
I hate to say it, but Sunshine is actually the best port on that collection from what I've played so
far. Everybody's been
because they
even though
some of the stuff,
even though they still show you like the GameCube buttons,
they don't.
When like you have to do.
They switched.
Did they patch that?
All the buttons in at least the version I played were referencing Switch Pro controller buttons.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, because I was playing Mario 64 and I was totally expecting it to, because like there's like signs that tell you how to do the different moves in that first room.
Hold on. Just for the people who are out there watching on Twitch right now, I've had such a bad week gaming and tech wise that I came ready to start a fight if people start talking about the Super Mario 3D collection. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's why I was like, I'll shut my mouth right now.
No, it was like it actually says like press LZ to crouch and press B. I'm like, oh, they're actually using these real like the Switch buttons, which was plus like on the start screen on Mario 64 where it usually says press start on the N64 version, it says press plus. So. That's when I kind of noticed it. I'm like, maybe this is just a thing. But then I got to Galaxy, and they were like, make sure you have your Joy-Cons in hand, and make sure you wear your little wrist strap. And I'm like, oh no. And then I went to play it, and I'm like, oh no, oh no. So,
I hate when gimmicks get out of control. I hate it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get to our BRP analysis. Rage of Justice is questionable content of a game.
I've never even heard of this game until you sent it to me.
Yeah.
It is a beat 'em up that I played on PlayStation 4.
Oh,
and
okay, yeah, I know what it is.
The first boss you fight is in a pimp suit, flying around like he's skating. It is bonkers nonsense. It's such a bad game. People do not buy this game. But how much did you think? How much did you think we will see on PS5 and Series X all these questionable content stuff? And can companies afford games being on these platforms? So,
it's the bread and butter of what the gaming industry is. Like you're gonna have for every one top tier AAA whatever title or whatever you want to call it, for every one title there's going to be 15 questionable content titles out there, and whether they're actually massively produced from like big developers or whether they're going to be indie titles, it does not matter. It's like the circle of life for consoles. It is.
And you've got to remember though too that jank games have their own place in the gaming world. I mean, there are people who love, like, I'm not quite like full on, but I love when a game is just weird and just stupid, and like bad. Like, I like playing games like that sometimes just because it is a different experience, because when you get into a world where everything is so polished and so, like, sometimes it's fun to just play these games that are just kind of completely out there. So, like, I don't know, like, like I remember Raging Justice, and I think that was a hilarious game. Like, it's not something you're gonna play like, like realistically and think you're gonna be like all hardcore fan of it or anything. But it's beat 'em up games though. There's so many of those like that are just like you ask yourself, why did they even make this game? But it's because it's just goofy, stupid nonsense, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of the times they know that going in. It's going to be that experience that's just going to be like people, like are just going to laugh at, and
Yeah, there's always an audience for every typical type of genre or style or game out there. Like there's always an audience for it. Like some people literally like, okay, let's use Racing Justice since it's actually this subject of topic right now. Some people buy their Switch just for games like this because this is all they're going to be able to have time to invest their attention into. They're not going to be able to invest their time and attention into games that take 15, 20, 40, 90 hours to beat. They're not going They want something they can jump in and jump out of. That reminds of the old quarter cruncher days back in the arcade where like you go in there, you spend like 40 minutes of your time fighting the game, or, playing a game, and you beat it. That's so yeah. I will take your word for it. That's questionable content. Unless I'm using your catchphrase. I will take your word for it because I didn't even know this game existed.
Yeah, I was like, Ed sent me this random picture in our chat. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, what is this? And we were talking, and then I looked at the doc and we were going to talk about this game. I'm like, no, Ed, I was like, I don't see anything wrong with this picture. 10 out of 10, 100 on Metacritic, perfect game. And then he got mad at me.
Then I was like, what? Because
it's got a 7 out of 10 on Steam.
Because even with that Shaq Fu game that came,
Hey, Shaq Fu was also a 10 out of 10.
Dude, yeah, that was game of the year, man.
Yeah.
That was some hots.
I got it for free too, so
yeah, me too.
Even better.
That's why it was 10 out of 10.
You know what's so funny though? Shaq Fu is actually made by the team who ported The Witcher and Crysis remastered to the Switch. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know.
Crysis remastered. I could talk about that for like a whole second.
I think I'm gonna end up getting that on Switch at some point.
Well, it's amazing, the remastered. Like now it's back to where the original was, where no video, no graphics card today can run that game at on crisis mode. Like without it being like 20 frames per second and like super glitchy, because they ran it on the new RTX cards and it just like on crisis mode it just ran like they said a slideshow.
Dang,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it just blasted the hell out of those cards, and they so like it's such a nerdy thing, but I love that they just push a game to like it's just like hell, like that it just puts these cards to shame, even though they're super powerful and like by all means like some of the most craziest like upgrades in a long time for graphics cards, but it's just hilarious that it can just melt those things like that.
I really wonder about Crysis when it first came out. What was Crytek doing to get that game running?
Crysis was breaking systems back in the day.
Yeah.
But what was they running on while developing that game to like put it out there?
I'm guessing that that's the thing that I always wonder too, is like, well, I think what it is they're never actually playing it or like doing it at its full potential. Mm-hmm. It's all about the assets and all the things that are going into it that are much higher than what, like, because they're using 8K assets. They used 8K assets in the remastered version. Like I think all the ray tracing and stuff. I think what they're doing is they're turning certain things off and upping certain things and then doing it to its full potential. And then they'll do that all the way down the line. But if you turn everything up, it just like melts everything. So like they're having to do certain things at a time and edit certain things and turn other things off so the computers can handle it. Mm. But then what your finished product is with everything turned up is just nothing can handle all of it being pushed to its full potential. Which is how I'm guessing they would have to do that, because how else would you if if there's a tech that doesn't exist that can run everything all at once, it would have to be being done, like as they're editing through it and turning things down so they can. But
I would love to see two human running on Series X and see what happens after you die.
It is backwards compatible.
But yeah, if you're interested in that, I know we went on a tangent, but if you're interested in
us going
the stuff on the remastered version of that game, there, I believe it was what's it called?
Digital Foundry.
Yeah, Digital Foundry did a video.
Oh, Digital Foundry loves doing stuff like that, man. It's like their kink. It's their kink. I love watching their videos.
Yeah, because they
used
Switch
it
version.
on the Titan. They used the Titan, which is the Titan the 3090 or is that the 3080? The RTX card.
The 3090. Wait,
okay.
Are we sure? Because I know for sure I saw details about the 3080 as far as what Crysis could and could not do. I didn't even know that the 3090 was.
They said that they ran it on they said Titan. I don't know if that's the 3080 or because I think they for sure did the 3080, but I don't know if they did the 3090 in there as well to test and see if it could run, but. I don't
Corey,
remember.
what did you think?
I think they said the Titan at some point in the video.
I believe them if they said Titan. I believe them.
But Corey, what did you think? Can questionable content games, thrive on PlayStation 5 and Series X?
I mean, it depends on what type of game it is. Like I don't think like a AAA, okay, like this game is okay, can really thrive, right? Like you even see. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I don't know. I really don't know because like for me, like the Avengers is the most okay game I've played, but that game has sold a ton, right? Like I don't know. And Darksiders is an okay franchise, and that franchise has sold a ton, right? Like it just depends on. I think it depends on how you market the game and knowing your audience and having a good marketing campaign for it because like. I don't know because I think people will try games when they're on sale. I can't tell you how many Switch games I've bought when they were like $1 or $2, and I just tried them out and they were like okay, but I'm sure those games sold well when they went on sale, right? Like I really don't know, right? Like I don't know. You stumped me.
Because it's just like because Racing Injustice is more like this is Pit Fighter meets Donkey Kong Country when there's rare days with its animation and the way that looks, and it
looks almost claymation, almost in some kind of somewhat.
Yeah, and like the hit detection, the hit detection is like the pimp boss and just like everything is whatever they were trying to go for. Just like, dude, you have to see the video because he glides around like he's a figure skater, and I'm like, what is this nonsense? Like, and I
have you never met a pimp before, Ed? Have you never seen the gliding pimps flying around?
It's called "I'm Going to Get You, Sucker."
I was about to say, "I'm going to get you, sucker." Come on now, come on, Goldie, come on.
What do you think? Why do you think they're called G's? The G stands for glide.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a really bad joke, but I don't care.
Yeah, your Destiny dad jokes are better.
To sum it up, for every one top tier AAA title out there, there's going to be 15 to 20, like questionable content games out there because there's going to be a market for it. Some developers and some publishers are going to be able to reap some rewards off of it. Some developers and publishers are going to have to be like, we may have to shut our doors after publishing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think part of it too, and we see bigger game companies do this as well. Obviously they try to make them like full-fledged, really good games, but a lot of times they end up being their cheaper budget games. But I think a lot of times games like this are also people kind of playing around with tech and trying to learn, learn how to do, certain things, and it's kind of, they've got to build a game around it, but it's them kind of learning, that's what a lot of these budget and indie games are a lot of times, is them trying to play around with the programs, and they just start off with something that maybe they know a little more than other things, and so it'll be a beat 'em up that won't be the greatest game in the world, and but it's them working on their craft and trying to get to a point where maybe someday they can do make something better. But I think that's why I feel like games like this are always great and will always have a place, is because as long as you're keeping it in the back of your mind that these are indie for a reason, that a lot of times these people probably are just up and coming and are learning how to do things. Like, you can give it a pass to a certain extent. Yeah, it's not going to be the greatest experience always, but you got to remember that it's not easy to make a game, and it takes a lot of practice.
Here's the one thing I know for sure. Like, this game is 5 years old. Like, this game was initially released in 2015, so we got to take that with a grain of salt too. It dropped on the Switch in 2018, but like Jesse was saying, this might be just something that the developers are trying to get a skill set on, get a grasp for it, because let me see. Let me see what else they've done since then. Please tell me that wasn't their only game.
Well, honestly, the thing is, though, is like I said, on Steam, it's got a 7 out of 10, which really isn't that bad. So there must be someone who likes there must be people who like this game. I want to say I've played it, but I can't. I don't know. Dude, I bought Bad Dudes. I bought Bad Dudes on Switch. Is it the greatest beat 'em up game in the world? No. Mm-mm. It was goofy fun. It took me 2 hours to finish the game, to beat it or whatever. Not even, maybe.
What game?
And it was what it
Bad
was.
Dudes.
Bad Dudes.
Yeah, it was an arcade game from the day to eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, as far as I can tell, this is their only. As far as I can tell, this is their only game. They're a UK-based studio founded in 2014, and it looks like this is the only thing to their credit right now. So hey, you know what? Putting this in perspective now, doing just a little bit of research. Hey, this might have been their dream, to release a game.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, we want to know, can questionable content games thrive on PlayStation 5 or in Series X? Or if you guys have questionable content on your systems that you don't know how it happened, but it has happened.
Spoiler, we all do.
Yes. I have a questionable content game. I'm pretty sure I have a questionable content game on my Switch. I just but it barely stretches his leg, so who knows.
But you guys can email the show at boshrushgamespro@gmail.com. We want to know what you guys think. Go ahead, LeRon.
Oh, my questionable content game, Okami HD. No, I'm just messing with you.
You know what?
Uh-oh.
No. The only reason why I call that Okami is because Amaterasu is the new hero for Tekken, the mobile game that I've been playing. He's the new hero that's coming out next month for Tekken. So I was like, I know, Okami's a sore subject for you, Ed. So I was like, let me take my shot in right now.
Going to Jesse and Corey are like, the stab, the wound. Someone send me another Phoenix down. but everybody, look, Okami is my game. Some people love it. Some people don't love it. That's fine with me. I'm proud that Okami came out. I got to experience something that has never been done, and I will leave it at that.
It was one of the best games on PS2. Okami. It was one of the best games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
LeRon,
mean that like definitely it's a game of its time where like Corey said, Mario 64, like it's a very inspirational game, but like it's just some things just don't hold up as much to certain people if you didn't grow up with it.
LeRon, where can we find you?
You can find me on various social media at Exodus803. That's EXODUS803. That is also my Twitch handle, so come check me out over there. I had typically have a regular streaming schedule, but things are all in flux right now because of the job. So it's coming back soon.
Yes. Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS.
Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey in HD.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at that retro code. You can check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps. And you can find me on Twitch at that retro code. I am playing Vanquish, so you guys can join me on that. It's the 360 version, so hop onto it. We do have a new Talk the Walk coming with Celeste and Billie Holiday. We will be talking about Gone Home. This book club for this month is Mass Effect, and we do ask you guys to also play Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, because next month we are doing the history of the Mass Effect series, and it's going to be a panel like no other. You guys are going to want to join us for that, because that discussion is going to be good. Also, for next month for our book club, we are playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, and if you finish 2, you could actually jump into Resident Evil 3 Remake also. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Thank you, LeRon. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Corey. Thank you all who is watching live. Who has just loved on us. Everybody have a great week. Have a great weekend. And yes, although we lost the winner Supreme Court Justice RPG, get registered for the vote. Get out there on November 2nd. Next time on Boston Podcast. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye.